Hello! Today we're here for the April wrap-up, but more precisely, we're here for the O.W.L's Magical Readathon wrap-up. So how did I do? Did I fail? Whatever, we'll see that now. But I just wanted to show you the new cup of water I got in the sorting hat. It is really beautiful. It will be perfect, I think, on my shelves. You can drink actually from it, but I will probably make it like a plant kind of thing. I will definitely try to, maybe put a cactus in it. Huh? What do you think, sorting hat? But yeah, I'm gonna use my new favorite ones because yes, and I'm gonna show you all the books I've read in April for the O.W.L's Magical Readathon. So I'm gonna stop babbling here because you know what I'm talking about. And in case you don't know, the link to Jay's channel, so the host of the Magical Readathon, will be linked down below, so you will know everything. So I had the opportunity to aim for a career, and I did for the Curse Breaker career, and for that I had to read 6 particular books. I had 6 prompts I needed to achieve, and I actually did that. So I'm gonna talk about the books I've read for the 6 prompts and some extra books, because yes, I've read more. For the first time in my life, I had some kind of bullet journal, so thanks God I did that because I already forgot what I read for what subject. So, thank you, book. So for Ancient Runes, I read Girls Made of Snow and Glass by Melissa Bashardust. So, yeah. In case you're wondering, I gave it 4 stars because I really enjoyed reading it. I loved what it was saying in the book, but I wasn't like in love with it because I got lost at some point, and at some part nothing was happening, etc. So this is a Snow White retelling kind of thing, and you have 2 main characters, so 2 main point of views. You have Mina and Lynette. Mina is actually the stepmother and Lynette is actually the beautiful princess. And there is some kind of adversity, but also at the same time they are family. Mina's father actually saved her, let's say, when she was a kid, and he gave her a heart made of glass. So she never felt a heartbeat. She doesn't know what love is because of that, and she doesn't like that, but she really doesn't have a choice. And then on the other side you have Lynette. Lynette is actually made of snow because she actually wasn't even born, so her mother died, and that magician, so Mina's father, did something for the king and created a little baby made of snow. So Lynette, she grew up, she changed, she evolved, so nobody knew about it, and one day she's gonna realize it and her world's gonna just crash down. Same for Mina, and this is the story between them, and it is really cute, it is really beautiful. It shows you that family is more than just blood sometimes. It was really interesting, I really loved it. I listened to the audiobook and then I read it at the same time, and I really had a fun time reading it. So 4 stars, not for everyone though, because I felt like not much happened, but lots of stuff happened. But it's more like about love, but friendship love and family love, etc. than anything else. So I really loved it. I had a good time reading it. Then for arithmancy, I've read Death Note 3, which is actually volume 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Yes! So 2 mangas in one, but I counted it as only one. And Death Note is actually a manga that I really, really, really do love, about a guy who one day will find a Death Note, and every time he's gonna write someone's name in it, that person's gonna die, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. Lots of stuff happened and I really loved it. It's so easy to read, it's so easy to enjoy, and I love the art, etc. So yeah. Of course, I gave it 5 stars. For Charms, I've read such a good book. Brief Answers to the Big Question by Stephen Hawking. I was so fascinated by that book. I was so in love with his writing style. But let's be honest, it was a bit intimidating because being in his head is just a huge deal to me. And I loved his personality. I mean, through the writing style. And he has an amazing sense of humor. And I really loved it. And it was interesting. You don't need to be a science nerd to understand everything. And he's really captivating. And he will stay an inspirational man. So yeah. And again, it was a 5 stars read. For Defense Against the Dark Art, I've read The Raven Tower by Anne Leckie. And this time the rating was a bit more complicated because I gave it 3 stars because I was lost at some point. I was still interested in the story because it was actually interesting and the point of views were kind of unique, especially because it was told from second person perspective. So it was saying you, which was, let's be honest, a bit confusing for me, but I still enjoyed it. So you have God's point of view, then you have some human's point of view, and if you want the story itself from one God's point of view who doesn't travel much, so he doesn't know much, but he's explaining what he's saying, and it's really interesting because I've never read anything like that before, so it was really, really unique. Unique is the word, but it was full of politics and treason and finding the truth and etc, etc. So it has some very interesting point of views and subjects, and it was full of secrets, etc. And you know how people make you believe some stuff through fear, but at the end it's not especially true, you know, that kind of thing. And I really, really enjoyed that. But I'm not sure that I understood the entire plot just because the you was confusing actually, and at some point I felt like nothing was happening and I got a bit bored, then I was captivated again, and it was really confusing. So I'm not sure how I feel about that book. I still gave it 3 stars, which is a good rate because I finished it and it is a chunky book, but I enjoyed it. It is unique and it was interesting. I love the God's point of view, but something wasn't working for me. Then for potions, I've read The Extinction Trials 3 Robo. So this is the 3rd book and the final book in the Extinction Trials trilogy. Yes, this is a trilogy. So this is a YA dystopian book with dinosaurs. You have a mix of Jurassic Parks and Hunger Games, which I really enjoyed. It's a bit different from both. It has also some kind of Terra Nova vibes because they're going on an island full of dinosaurs. So the people there living on Earthasia are actually suffering because they don't have enough resources, they don't have enough food, they don't have enough water, they don't have enough homes to live in. So every year or every few years, they're going through some kind of trials, but you're not forced to do it. So if you want to, you do it. And if you win, you will go to the island full of dinosaurs and you will try to find resources there. So the kids are going through the trials and they win, they go on the island. But this time the mission is kind of different because this time they won't go to find new resources, but they will try to destroy the most dangerous dinosaurs there in order to maybe live there and to live surrounded by the resources and fresh water, etc, etc. And it's so much more than that. It's about betrayals, it's about love, it's about secrecy, it's about truth, it's about surviving, it's about so much more. It's a book that I will describe as a guilty pleasure because it's a very tropey book. It's a very, I don't know, you actually expect things to happen the way it will happen in the book, but it is really enjoyable, it's really cute, it's really easy to go through. So I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it. If you're a very picky reader, maybe not, but I really loved it and I love dinosaurs, so win-win for me. And I gave it 4 stars just because I gave the others 5 stars, but I'm becoming pickier and pickier, but this is still one of my favorite series, and yeah. Then for Transfiguration, I've read Spectacles by Jodie Lynn's Drag. Let me tell you, I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I started that book and I had in mind that I would read like a few chapters and then stop and then continue, blah, blah, blah. I ate that book. I ate that book. It was a 4 stars because some tiny stuff bothered me, but it was an amazing story. Like, I really did enjoy the book. Like, it was amazing. It's set in Paris old Paris, and if you want the main characters has some kind of power that one day will come up, she will actually see murders and she will see ladies, girls being killed through the eye of the murderer, which is so interesting because she's gonna be like, am I crazy? What's wrong with me? And blah 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 and blah blah blah. And she's gonna go through some stuff, you know, and it was so captivating and I loved the writing style. Like the writing style was amazing and the atmosphere of the book, you know, old Paris, like, you know, not clean houses, not clean streets, etc, etc. I really did enjoy it. You know, Parisian catacombs, etc, etc. I really love that book. So it was in an unplugged book box and I really loved that book. Then for divination, I've read Lifelike by J. Kristoff. Yes, it was time for me to read a book by J. Kristoff and not J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. You know what I mean? It was time for me to read Lifelike. I gave it 4 stars. I really loved it. I had that Anastasia kind of vibes, you know, the Romanov. I had also so many other vibes like Jiminy Cricket in Pinocchio, etc, etc. I really did enjoy it. I fell in love with the characters. Some parts were very predictable. I still enjoy the writing style, etc. So I was like, yes, and I want to read the sequel. Like the sequel, Deviate, is coming soon, so I will definitely pick that one up. So the story begins with Evie, who is actually living on third with her grandfather, and she needs to fight with some kind of robots in order to win money to pay the medicine for her grandfather. And one day she's gonna lose and her robot's gonna get destroyed, smashed, unusable. And she will go through some very bad phases and she will one day find an android somewhere in the ruins and she will be like, yeah, I'm gonna rebuild them and I'm gonna use them and you know, everything's gonna be alright. But that android, Ezekiel, is not full of good news. You know, he's gonna come and just make her life explode and she's gonna discover stuff. She's gonna see that her life is not actually what she thought and she's not actually what she thought she was or who she thought she was. You know, I get confused here. Help. But yeah, it was really interesting. I loved it. I love the relationship between the robots and the humans. That's something I really love in sci-fi and it was so good to get back to sci-fi again and I really missed it. And I'm not an expert in YA sci-fi just because I read mostly adult sci-fi, or should I say I've read in the past, because now since I joined the community I'm more like a YA, fantasy YA kind of person, which I really miss actually reading sci-fi. I will try to do something about that, but I really did enjoy it and will definitely recommend it and pick up the sequel. So 4 stars, yeah. Now, another book I read that was an extra credit, just like, I mean, extra credit for me, just as much as Lifelike, was for astronomy, and it is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So you can applaud me because this is actually my first Brandon Sanderson book. And it was a 5 stars. Does that surprise anyone? No, I don't think so. I fell in love with that book. I fell in love with the character. I fell in love with the plot. I fell in love with the words. I fell in love with all the other characters and the main characters, and not the main characters, but all the other characters and everything around it. I really loved everything and every little animals, or blah blah blah, and story and twists and plots. I loved everything. This is a story of Spencer who wants only one thing. She wants to become a pilot. She wants to become a pilot in order to save her family, to protect her family, but also her friends, etc, etc. And because becoming a pilot is like becoming a king, like you're on top of the society. But she is going through very tough times because people don't especially want her to be a pilot because her father was, and he died being a deserter. So she is treated the way the father is. The father's memory is treated like a traitor kind of thing, and she doesn't accept that because she loves her father. Of course, she has good memories with him. She doesn't believe what people are saying, so she's gonna have to handle that in order to become a pilot. And yeah, things are not what they seem. And sci-fi, there are some aliens, etc., the Krell, and Spencer is a very kick-ass character. I really love that she wasn't annoying or etc. like in lots of YA, whiny main characters who thinks that life is unfair or whatever. She wasn't like that, so I really enjoyed it. It was so easy to read. It is a chunky book, but I read it in no time just because it was captivating and because I had no internet while reading it. But yeah, it was amazing. I loved it so much. I'm happy I finally finished a Brandon Sanderson book. Yay me! So this is the end of the O.W.L's Magical Readathon wrap-up. I'm pretty proud of myself because I didn't push myself. I was planning on reading more and I was like trying to do so, but stuff happened, life happened, you know, bullshit. But yeah, I really had fun reading those books. I think I had a good time because most of the books I've liked. There is just one that was a bit confusing, but I still enjoyed it, so I'm happy about that. So thank you, G, for hosting the amazing O.W.L's Magical Readathon, but also to AJ, so A.S. James, because he did an amazing job as well, because he helped G doing a lot of stuff, and it was just amazing. I didn't participate in everything just because it was overwhelming, and I had no internet for the time, and being as active was just like over the top for me. But bravo to you two, congratulations to you two, you were just amazing. So thank you. But yeah, well, so let me know in the comment if you were doing the O.W.L's as well, if you did great, or if you are not that proud of yourself. Don't say you failed, just that you could have done better, but life happened, and that's totally fine. So yeah, talk to me in the comment section about the books you've read for the O.W.L's, or if you've read one of the books I've read, please talk to me down below so we can talk about that book and share our thoughts about it, especially about the Raven Tower. I still don't know how I feel about the Raven Tower, but yeah. Well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. And talk to me in the comment section down below as usual. Until next time, take care, wolves. Bye.